secret identity. Today's episode is Attack on Titan, a show introduced to me by our co-host, Mr. Brent Birnbaum.
Hey guys, Brent Birnbaum here.
This is a little different setting than we usually are. We're on the road in Spokane, Washington, where there's a lot of love for Attack on Titan out here.
Absolutely.
We said it last night on the show that we were going home to record this episode. There was a roar, like we were introducing another comic. You introduced me to this, man. This is something that came, like, my brain is either utterly obsessed with something or it doesn't give a shit at all. And I got into this and I was completely obsessed with it from the get-go. I was like, it was midnight. I got home from doing one of those late shows in the city, and it's one of those weird times where, like, you know you should go to sleep, you know you can't, and I made the mistake of watching a new show, and I watched the first episode totally blind, which I recommend everybody do if you haven't seen it, because this is one of those shows that everyone was like, you gotta watch it, and I usually don't when people say that. Like, I did that with Game of Thrones, and I learned my lesson. My heart was broken. And this sort of had a Game of Thrones-y ending, but everything else was so much worth it that I was okay with it.
It redeems it a little. That makes me so happy how much you love this show, because where you and I are both comic nerds to the utmost degree, particularly when it comes to Marvel and DC, like, we really are on, like, that same frequency of autism when it comes to that. But, like, where we differ a little bit is you're an enormous Star Wars nerd, where I'm not as big into Star Wars, whereas I'm a huge anime nerd.
Feels like you just called me a bitch, but that's okay.
No, Star Wars is way cooler than anime.
Anime is something I always wanted to get into because it's so many people are connected to it, and there's such a huge niche universe of fans out there that you don't know until you start saying you watch anime. And it's one of those things where you tell people you watch one, then you get about 3,000 recommended to you that you should watch.
And it's become a lot more popular, I feel, in recent years. Like, before it used to be everyone just watched Dragon Ball Z. Now people are, like, really getting into anime. And what I always say to someone, if they say, I want to get into anime, what's the first one I should watch? I recommend Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. But if they say, I don't know if I'm going to get into anime, what's the one anime I should watch? Attack on Titan.
And you couldn't have picked a better one to watch. Just, I mean, I watched it around the holidays, and, like, I worked during Christmas, and I'm doing comedy shows, so I wasn't really around anyway. Attack on Titan was my Christmas present every day. Oh, yeah. And let's dive into it.
Let's dive in, baby.
Give us the summary. We have, so there's the show. And there's the anime.
You mean the show and the manga?
The show and the manga, yeah. Wow, that shows you how Western I am. I don't want to butcher this guy's name. I'm going to look up the phonetic pronunciation of the author of Attack on Titan.
And I will, once he pronounces it correctly, I will pronounce it in the most Jewish way possible.
That's the, that was going to happen either way, Lois. Hajime Isima.
Hajime Isiyama!
You got the second one right. I got the first one. Isiyama. That's what I'm referring him to as. I watched the show, then I read the manga, and then there's all these little spin-offs of the manga, which are really interesting too. But they're parallel to each other. They're exactly identical. And the outline that we had written for this today is a summary of mostly the show, but I mean, if you watch the show, you read the anime, and if you read the anime, you watch the show. So start us off.
Let's start off, baby. So Attack on Titan starts off in a world where humanity has been decimated by these creatures called Titans. So these are gigantic humanoid nude creatures that eat humans.
No genitalia.
No genitalia.
They eat them.
They're like Ken down there.
Completely
just Ken.
Just Ken. They're not Ken. They don't do it for sustenance. They just do it. They just eat. They are me at 3 in the morning. I got 6 donuts for us. I ate all 6 of them. That was me as a Titan. That's how I got ready for this show. I got 6 donuts before this. That's how that's how just rabid. And they do that with people, and we see that, like, right away. That's how it starts in this world.
Oh yeah, exactly. And so all of humanity is living on an island called Paradis, and all of humanity is behind 3 walls. So Walmaria, that's where, like, the kind of lower middle class live. That's where the majority of humanity lives. Walrose, that's where kind of the upper middle class lives, and then Walsina, and that's where the royalty lives. So we meet our main character, Eren Yeager. So he's a kid he lives in Shiganshina, which is a town outside Walmaria, and he's feeling that there's more to life than this. He wants to go outside the walls. We also meet his 2 best friends, Armin, who is very much like the Cowardly Lion. He's supposed to be a genius, but he's always crying. It's just like, Eren, I'm just a scaredy cat.
Courage!
Courage!
So many titans!
Put him up!
I want to go out to the sea! But there's water out there! Make us please help me! And they can't go outside the walls because there's titans out there.
There's titans, so that's why. That was also a callback to Kraven's Last Hunt. That was one of our OG impressions. So I want to bring that one back. Yeah, so we meet Armin, who's a genius, and then Mikasa, who's the silent but deadly type. That's his friend, who is just an incredible fighter and athlete.
Badass.
Total badass. She lives with Eren and his parents because her parents were previously murdered. And Eren's parents are...
But Eren came in and... Yeah. That's one of the. I mean, I don't want to jump too.
No. Please, do that.
The Mikasa was home alone with her mother, and her mother is taken out by these thugs, and they're like, well, you were supposed to keep them both alive. They wanted to traffic them essentially, and Eren shows up, and because Eren's dad is the town doctor in Shiganshina, and they go to pay her a house visit, and he's a little late for the checkup, let's just say, on the mother, but there's still time to save Mikasa. Eren goes in goblin mode, kills one of the dudes, gets Mikasa to fight him by telling him, you just have to fight, you have to fight, you have to fight. Then he wraps the red scarf around her, and that's what makes me and a lot of other people see this story as told through the eyes of Mikasa. This is like, she's the narrator of this, but you could look at it through that, or it's Eren reliving the memories one last time of all of it she get into with the hat on her head. That's what's so beautiful about this show. Just when you think you figure it out, they pull me back in. Like, there's so much.
So many twists.
But like Mikasa's intro and her not being a victim, her not being prey, her becoming the ultimate predator made her one of my top 3 favorite characters on this show.
Oh yeah, like my personal favorite character in this story is Bertold Hoover, which I'll get to later. But it's not like Eren is the sole main character. Mikasa and Armin are just as much main characters.
100%.
And to a lesser extent, Reiner when we get to him.
Eren's not even in the last 2 episodes really, which I think is that shows you how ensemble based this show is.
It's about Armin and Mikasa.
It's about Armin and Mikasa. There's so many. This show is so character driven as well as ideology, which at a certain point gets it into some trouble because there's a lot of parallels between isolationism and is it us or them? Well, every time it's going to be us because I'm not going to let them win. And when you get to the last 2 episodes, they really, or even the last few chapters of the manga, they strip it down to, it's always been about humanity, and they kept telling you throughout the story it was about humanity, but you didn't realize it because these giant monsters were coming in eating you, and there were so many things that you were just involved with while it was happening, like who's the female titan, who's this giant, what is the colossal titan going to show up next, once they get out of all that, and then you get to season 4, which completely transforms everything. It's amazing. That's me saying thank you for the 500th time for giving me this show.
No, it warms my heart to hear you talk about it, to hear Slater say that she's thirsting over Levi Ackerman, which we'll get to too.
God, it was not hard to get her to watch that show. It was not hard.
The other major characters that we meet initially are Grisha, that's Eren's dad, he's the town doctor, and Carla, Eren's mom. And Grisha has a cell in his basement, like a cellar, and there's a key that gets in. He's never let Eren in, but Eren is complaining, he's bitching, and Grisha's like, you know what, Eren? He goes, if you behave well, I'll show you what's in the cellar. And so Grisha then leaves.
And it's just a bunch of R. Kelly vinyl.
Yeah. It's a very problematic cellar. Grisha's like, I swear, I just like it for his music.
I'm not going to buy the new stuff.
You go, why is there so much Bill Cosby stand-up in Woody Allen movies?
Because 100 years ago it was cool.
It was cool.
We didn't know. That's where they created the Titans. From buying copies of Annie Hall in 4K. So that day he leaves.
It's not problematic, I swear.
Right now it's not. Outside these walls, I'm a much different person than lying.
It's really a great rom-com.
Grisha leaves Shiganshina, and that's the big day.
That's the big day.
Changes.
Because that's the day the Fire Nation attacked.
That's the day the Fire Nation attacked. That's the day the stakes are raised. And what happens?
What happens is, so most of the Titans are just these stupid humanoid creatures that are kind of running around like chickens with their heads cut off.
Yeah.
But 2 abnormal Titans show up.
Right.
One is the Colossal, which is...
And they know nothing about the Titans.
They know nothing about the Titans.
These people are primitive. They've been there for, what, 100 years at this point? Is that what we know on this island?
Yeah. It's basically like medieval society.
Yes. Okay. I just thought that was an important detail to point out.
Oh, no, it's great.
It's that level of understanding. It's like Ewoks versus Titans.
Yes.
That's really what it kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
There's no guns. Mm-hmm. There's no power.
They have like old school guns,
exactly,
like muskets.
Yeah, right. And they're no match for those giant human stupid things. And the Colossal appears.
The Colossal appears, and these two the Colossal is intelligent. It's 60 feet tall, and it makes a hole in Walmaria.
In an impenetrable wall.
Yeah, in an impenetrable wall, it somehow makes a hole in there, and then another Titan shows up, the Armored Titan.
He is Usain Bolt with Titan armor.
He did the move afterwards too.
Yes, yeah. And like the thing is when he attacks, or when he's running through, we have no idea what's going on. This is like there's this strike of lightning. Boom, Colossal. Then Armor just runs through like OJ, and then he does OJ's both on and off the field work here. It's insane what
it's crazy because Grisha's basement also had a bunch of OJ highlights.
He was coming back to get his memorabilia. And Eren is trying to get away with Mikasa. They're trying to run away with their mother.
Right, because these two intelligent Titans, the Colossal and the Armor, they disappear.
Yeah, they just left after they broke the wall open.
Exactly.
But then all these other Titans came into the wall. And after, so the hole is breached. They gotta go. The Titans are here. They're all over the place. People are getting eaten left and right, and it is gruesome. It is Taco Bell burrito at 1 in the morning after a long day and nobody's around. And you just bite into it and let the sauce hit everywhere. You wake up and there's stains.
Ring the bell, baby.
It's just all, bring it on. You don't care. It's nothing matters at 1 a.m. And that's what's going on. And then as they're leaving, a house falls on Eren's mom, or their house, and a beam falls in, and they can't get her out from it. And she's saying, "Get Mikasa out. Just listen to me for once in your life. Get Mikasa out of here. Whatever you do." Then, what is the guy's name?
Hannes.
Hannes comes by, and he is part of the. What do they call those guys?
So he's part of the garrison. So there's there are 3 arms of the military.
Yes.
There's the garrison that keeps everything inside the wall safe. There's the military police that protects the king, and then there's the scouts.
The scout regiment, baby.
We'll get to that, but they're the ones who fight the Titans.
Yeah, they fight the Titans, and they bring the ruckus to that ass, Larry. Let me tell you, they fight the Titans. So Hannes comes, and he's the one that gets Eren and Mikasa away, and Eren has to witness his mom being eaten
by the creepiest looking Titan.
The creepiest looking Titan. Every Titan, I don't know if we've seen too many of their faces up to this point in the pilot, but we see them enough to know that they're not to be trifled with. And this Titan, in both the book and after reading the manga and watching it, it was even scarier because I heard my own music in my head. That's the beauty of reading a book, is like you could direct a movie in your own head and like it's your own voice cast. But in the show, I remember it being late at night and seeing that, and like I hadn't had an experience like that.
It's called the Smiling Titan, and her smile is scarier than any Joker smile out there.
Yeah.
And want to know how I turned into a Titan?
You want to know how I turned into a Titan? I was a restorationist. My father was a leader.
And a fiend.
And after Eren and Mikasa get away, is that where we get the bit of a time jump in their training?
Yeah, well, so Eren blacks out, and then when he wakes up,
right.
He's got the key. He's got his dad's key around his neck, but no one knows where his father is.
No one knows where Grisha is. We don't see Grisha for quite some time. And one of the beautiful things about this show, this being my first exposure to anime, I got to see. I mean, I've seen like 8.5 as far as foreign films. I think that's as far as it goes for me. 8.5, maybe Parasite. I've tried to put myself into more of a space to see how the rest of the world tells stories versus how Americans do. And reading and watching Attack on Titan taught me a really great lesson about how different parts of the world tell the stories, and also absence of character having so much to do with the story and what that does in place of it. So while Grisha's absent, you're wondering the whole time what's going on, but there's not a single, and I hear this is a complaint in a lot of anime shows, there's not a single filler episode of Attack on Titan. Every episode and every issue, anything you read, it's just page turner. To be continued. Keep watching, keep watching, keep watching, keep watching. Even like as we're watching now, Aaron's going through the scout training, right? Or he's going through the garrison training.
Yeah.
That's where he wakes up after the blast.
And those are my favorite types of animes. Animes like Attack on Titan, like Jujutsu Kaisen, or Full Metal Brotherhood, or Monster, or Baccano, with no filler at all. I mean, how many episodes do we get of Goku building a spirit bomb?
That's what kind of took me out of Dragon Ball. I watched the first season of Dragon Ball, and it was the original one. And all I remember was Goku slapping the woman's genitalia over the pants very hard. I don't know if that's...
Dude, that original Dragon Ball, not DBZ, but original,
That's
it's
what
fucked
I
up.
watched. Yeah, that's the one I watched. And I was like, there's other versions of this. I don't know if I can legally watch anime anymore after just seeing that. Like, I'll just stick with the Boondocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was my only exposure to anime until this.
Which honestly, legit has some of the best fight scenes out of any
Oh
anime.
my god, Aaron Magruder is such an anime and old martial art film fan. Like, right out of the jump, like Stinkmeaner versus Huey. Huey versus anybody. The ruckus with the nunchucks when they're trying to get into the
Dude,
movie.
Bushido Brown versus the
Bushido
Hidocracy.
Brown, my god, dude. Every single Boondocks, there easily could have been a Boondocks, like, Street Fighter type game. And it
would have been amazing.
It would have been amazing. I think we could get that crowdsourced if we call enough. If you know 5 black people, we can get it done.
So Aaron, Armin, and Mikasa decide that they're going to join the Scout Regiment because they're like, you know what, we're going to kill these Titans.
Yeah.
They got to pay for what they did. And so this is when we meet the other major characters in the story. So we meet the people in their training class. We meet Connie, Jean, and Sasha.
I love Connie.
Oh,
and
dude, Connie's the
whole
man.
show I was so protective of him. Every single time Connie was in any situation, I was like, don't you be messing with my boy now. That's
Connie's
my boy.
the man.
Don't you break my boy.
Sasha's my girl.
Sasha is the best.
Sasha.
She can't be. Yeah, I mean, Sasha, right out of the gate, that first... with the potato, and they split it in half, and that's like Rhina. We learned the impact that had on him. Sasha, I think, is... Mikasa is, I think, every anime a nerd's body pillow fantasy hump, and Sasha is
What's that phrase? Manic Pixie Dream Girl?
What's that?
Like the manic, like she's like the kind of quirky, offbeat girl that everyone's like in love with, like Ramona Flowers and Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was I couldn't agree more. And we see them meet each other in a funny, I guess it's funny to see them be who they are in a military regiment, like learning, like back, shoulders up straight, and they're all kind of quirky people who have to grow up after. This is how many years after the wall broke?
This is about 5 years after.
5 years after the wall broke, where we've seen what this effect has had on them. Like, they've all grown past this tragedy. It's very much like 2006. You know, this us after 9/11. You know, like. All right, we're scared that this can happen again at any other time, but instead of letting fear be the greatest tool they have, we're going to fight back with our grit. And we're watching these humans go up against a pretty much impossible circumstance, but they're determined to figure out how to take down every last Titan on the planet.
Absolutely. And that's what's so cool about these characters. Like, obviously, so Connie is a goofball, Sasha loves food, and Jean is kind of Aaron's rival, but he's got a heart of gold.
Yeah.
And then we also meet Rhina, Berthold, and Annie, and they all come from the same town. Rhina's kind of like a QB1 jock type.
Yeah, and he's kind of like an older brother to everybody.
Yeah, everyone loves Rhina. Berthold's his best friend, who's kind of lankier and shyer, but very nice guy.
He's kind of looked at as a dork by everybody, but like nobody really messes with him because he's tight with Rhina.
Exactly. And then we have Annie, who is kind of doesn't really want to interact with anyone. Again, very athletic.
Very Daria.
Very Daria. Yes.
Yeah,
that's a great comparison.
Is a badass. Is one of the greats of the hand-to-hand combat. Like nobody. It's very hard to stand 10 toes down against Annie Lionheart. And they all came about because they got pushed back from Shiganshina to Maria. Is that where they went to?
Yeah, and they're all from the same hometown. And then there are 2 more major characters. There's Krista, who's just really nice, and Ymir, who's very jaded.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're training to join the Scouts. Aaron's having some trouble with his ODM maneuvering gear. So ODM maneuvering gear is how they kill Titans. It's this gear that flies you kind of like a zip line.
Yeah, it's like a belt with like Spider-Man web shooters on both sides. is very contingent on, it like has grappling hooks that hit the building, so that way it makes you, it's omnidirectional.
Yeah.
Is that what ODM stands for? I would assume that's what it was, but there's no M in directional, but I just kept, machine, omnidirectional machine. And it zip lines you across, and the goal is to get to the nape, which is the back of the neck of the Titan. You slice that like a good piece of deli meat, Titan goes right down. Ideally, you're going to want to take out its ankles first, its Achilles tendons, so it has nothing to walk on. It's like football, you know, how do you get the guy down? Where does he walk? His legs. You get him on the legs, then the nape. And Aaron can't balance. Everybody is on like one of those medieval like balancing things where, you know, just to test that you can. Because this is some hard gear to maneuver,
Seriously?
you know? Like, I'm even looking at it under your shirt, and I'm like, damn, I don't know how you'd be able to do that. And Aaron's isn't working, but he's able to balance it,
because Rhina helps him.
Rhina helps him do it, and who sabotaged his gear?
So we find out later that Shadis, their commander, sabotaged his gear.
Because
we'll get to that later.
Yeah, sorry. There's so much that's layered that I forget. This show I've watched, I think, 3 times now. I've read the manga twice. It's so layered, and I feel like every plot point was laid out before it came out, and everything ties together for the most part.
It is like Game of Thrones in that sense, whereas when you rewatch the first season of Game of Thrones, you realize they tell you everything. You just didn't know it then.
Yeah, and that's what's so entertaining about this. But after Zodium gear works, then he's sort of part of the garrison, and we're watching them go through the barracks and training.
And they all graduate, and they all decide to join the Scouts, except for Annie, who joins the military police. And they're on their first mission, and they're so hyped, they're on Walrose, and now all of a sudden, the Colossal Titan appears again.
He's back after 5 years, and I guess they sort of let their guard down because they were like, that might be a fluke, but they always were terrified that he was going to come back, but they weren't. The best thing they could do to prepare was train. And now he's here.
And what does he do? He disappears.
He's down!
But not before making a hole in Walrose this time.
So now that's 2 walls that they have gone, and they have the last bit is the royal wall. All those dudes. Those are the only ones that
fuck those guys.
Isn't the intro scene like them playing chess, and then they find out the second wall got breached, and what was that commander's name?
Oh, Pixis.
Pixis. He like takes the bottle of wine, and he just gets up, and he goes, all right, deuces, this is pretty much it. Like, and the guy's like, where are you going? I'm your king, listen to me. He's like, you're my king for like probably another 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna be dead. I'm gonna be dead very, very soon.
What happens after that wall breaches, after that second wall breaches?
So after the second wall breaches, more Titans start coming in, and so all of a sudden people are getting decimated, and Armin is about to be eaten, but Aaron comes in with the assist, saves Armin, but gets eaten himself.
First he has his arm in. He gets chomped by a Santa Claus looking Titan, and then he is he's Titan food.
Yeah.
And Mikasa feels it. There's like a Luke Leia moment where he calls her, or she feels that he's just not there because they have a very strong connection with each other. And she's always wearing his red scarf.
There is a lot of Luke Leia connections.
There's a lot that I was not very comfortable with at the end, like where I saw them very much as siblings until the end. I was like, no!
Yeah, fuck Luke Leia. This is Jamie Cersei connections.
Yeah, man. Like it's it kind of. We'll get to that. But Aaron is in the stomach acid of the Titan that just swallowed him, and we learn that he can transform into a Titan. We don't know how, we don't know where this power comes from, because we learn about the Titans as they do, as an audience. Like they have a script that when Aaron becomes an abnormal Titan that's like the Colossal Armored, but his is able to, Aaron's got this intense hatred toward Titans, and his goal, his mission is to wipe out every single Titan there is, ever since one, turned his mom into a Twinkie. No disrespect, Mr. Yeager. But then he comes out, and there was a character in a video game for PS1 called Tenshu, called Onekage, and Aaron's Titan looks exactly like that. Like
I'll have to look that up.
He's got the long hair, and the mouth is all scary, and he comes out and he's throwing roundhouses and punches, and nobody in the walls knows what's going on. They're like,
They just know this Titan is fighting on their side, and he's fucking up all the other Titans.
Every single one. I mean, there's not a crumb left. He is taken out, and I don't even think he has processed the fact of what he is right now. It's just rage has totally consumed him into this physical embodiment of the thing that they now might finally have his a fighting chance against the Titans.
But because everyone in the city is an imbecile, so after Eren is eventually brought down by some of the other Titans, basically everyone in the military is like, all right, we got to kill this guy. Like, he's a threat. And this is where we meet the three biggest legends on the show: Commander Irvin, Captain Levi Ackerman, and Commander Hanji. Irvin is the leader of the scouts. Irvin's like, fuck, this guy could be an asset to us.
This is the key,
He goes, I'm going to get my buddy Levi, who is the most powerful soldier in all the land.
Most loyal.
He's going to keep Eren in check. Hanji's very interested in working with Eren because she's like a mad scientist.
Yeah,
she wants to learn about the origins of the Titans.
Yeah, that is the perfect recipe of people to send when it comes to finding a martyr like Eren.
Yeah.
And they have some resistance because people are stupid.
People are stupid.
They're how many times were they ready to kill him?
Yeah, and Eren plugs up Wall Rose.
Yes.
So he saves the city, and they're still ready to kill him.
Still ready to do it. After your Titan power's down, and then you come out the neck, and they just put that in the wall, and then boom, flex seal, done deal.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it, but like at this point, you don't know when the Colossal is going to come back. You don't know if he's going to come back outside of a wall. He might just drop down in the middle of the city. Don't you want an asset that's going to be able to pick up and do something against
They finally have a fighting chance.
They finally have a fighting chance, and what do they do with it?
So they're going to put him to death, but Irvin's like, no, I'm going to watch over this guy. He's now under the watch of the scouts. And they show Levi just beat the shit out of Eren, and they're like, okay, worst comes to worst, Levi can take him down.
Yeah, and Levi and Eren's relationship is very much like it reminded me of Megatron and Starscream. The way like Starscream was always kind of like, I'll take you out the second you're not looking. Like,
dude, Starscream is the best. He's the best character of the Transformers.
He was the absolute best. And Levi, every single time Eren was ready for punishment and Levi was in charge of it, he was like, all right, if you come out now, I will only kick you a little bit in the ass. Like, Levi stood on business at all times. If Levi said something, he meant it. If Levi was told to do something, he did that shit. Like, he's a loner, and we find out about the Ackermans and what that means.
Because Levi is an Ackerman, that's why he has these physical abilities.
And that's why he's...
And who else's name is Ackerman?
Mikasa. And Levi is the best soldier, and you think he doesn't really care about people, but he really is the best soldier because of how lonely he was, and he knows what it feels like to have nobody or nothing, which makes his position at the end of the show a little more heartfelt for me, thinking where he is and where he ends up. We're still in season 1.
We're still in season 1. Eren is now going on missions with the scouts. He's doing it in Titan form. He's being protected by Levi and his elite squad, the Levi squad, who are like the best soldiers in the scouts. And then all of a sudden another Titan appears, a female Titan, who, like Eren and like the Colossal and like the Armored, is also intelligent. And she goes after Eren, and she kicks his ass, and she kills all of the other members of the Levi squad, other than Levi, takes Eren. It's only because Mikasa and Levi are there that they're able to save him.
Yeah, and it's scary. The misogyny when a female Titan comes around comes out very quickly. Like, I don't think anybody was called a bitch more than the female Titan. Spoiler alert, it's Annie.
Yeah,
if you're listening to this, you know it's Annie.
There are such better reveals than who the female Titan is. When I saw the female Titan appear, I was just like, everyone's like, who could it be? I'm like, it's obviously Annie.
At first, I thought it was like a Hanna-Barbera thing where they didn't have as much animation, so they just used a template and tightened her. But then they were like, "It's Annie," and I was like, "God damn it, I was right."
Yeah, no kidding, it's Annie.
And then she that's how they figured out later. But like, she fought exactly like Annie. They go so out of the way to show you Annie is such a great hand-to-hand combat. But I mean, her kills as the female Titan are grotesque, man. Like they are splattery.
She is nasty.
That's toward the end, right? When he gets taken?
When Eren exactly. But because he gets saved, Armin hatches a plan to catch the female Titan. He realizes it's Annie, because obviously it's Annie, because she looks just like Annie. And so Armin, Mikasa, and Eren corner Annie, but she's able to turn into the female Titan, and she fights Eren. But this time Eren wins.
Eren wins, and is that when she crystallizes?
She crystallizes, so she won't tell any information.
Yeah, and because they just want to know why. I mean, they went through so much with her. Like the thing that always stands out that I'm surprised nobody really picked up on was the Rhina thing with Annie when they're all chasing they're all chasing Aaron, or they're trying to protect Aaron, and Aaron's told, you know, don't go Titan unless it's necessary, and Levi's like, vote your conscience, kid, and who witnesses them grab Rhina?
Armin does.
Armin sees it, and Rhina is able to just sword his way out, and then Annie goes and knows where Aaron is.
And you're like, why did Rhina just escape?
How did he get out? Why didn't she go after him? She just chopped his hand all up and everything. Then she's crystallized and then becomes... her punishment for everything she did to everybody is being everyone's therapy dog.
I know, she has to listen to Armin complain for like 4 years.
Oh my god, he's such a bitch!
I'm so nervous. I'm so scared.
The cowardly Armin, man. Like, oh my god, I can't stand him. By the end, he becomes great.
He becomes awesome by the end.
If you are sick of Armin's voice, you should watch the show dubbed, because the voice acting undubbed, first of all, is just incredible. It's some of the best ever. But Armin in subbed. Armin in dubbed is just so wonderful.
I still recommend dubbed simply because J. Michael Tatum is in the dub, who's the man who voices Commander Irvin.
And he is the man.
He's the man. He's a hype machine.
Is at the end of season 2 where we get the reveal of the Beast?
So that's the beginning of season 2, but season 1 does end with one other reveal, because during the Aaron and Annie fight, part of the wall is knocked down, and we see a colossal titan in the wall.
Yes, and they go, is that when the priest comes out and he's like, don't let the light touch the wall, and we learn that the walls may be made of titans.
Yeah,
like,
just colossal titans.
Colossal titans, as big as the one that just knocked everything down. That is what is surrounding everybody inside of these walls. Sounds like a Kendrick Lamar song. If these walls could talk! Armin. And then we get...
I love Kendrick, but I'm uncomfortable with what he said about Drake.
Mixed race, right? You haven't heard about the one drop rule. Season 2 picked up right after where season 1 left off, where we get where they had the Battle of Trost, and we find out there's titans in the walls, and nobody. It's a shorter season, but that's because there's really only it's a season to deepen the mysteries of the show to keep you hooked. It's a very important season. It starts with the revelation that humanity's last defense against the Titans are Titans. It's that's what's in the walls, and they don't really know how to control these.
Did you say that in the Norm voice? Like humanity
realizes their last defense against Titans is the Titans. It's Titans. I'm humanity. I'm going. I'm scared of these Titans that are in the walls, and they're trying to figure out. Okay, we got to figure out as much as we can about these Titans.
Yes.
And that's where Hanj and Irvin are a really huge part of this, because Hanj is the Dr. Frankenstein, and Irvin has to be the one that sends these young men and women to go die in the front lines, but this is the time where they have to realize they're doing it for a reason, because they're tired of hiding, and this is going to be the end of their darkness era. Like, they're going to be part of the rest of the world.
Exactly.
Or they don't even really know there's
The night is darkest just before the dawn.
Just before the dawn. Yeah, there's our episode Dark Knight reference, baby.
But what's interesting about this season is Titans are popping up inside Wall Rose, but the wall was plugged by Aaron.
Yes.
So how could these Titans be popping up? And they're like, maybe it has to do with this new intelligent Titan, as you mentioned, the Beast Titan.
The scariest reveal of any Titan in a show. I don't remember what the character's name is, but it's SpongeBob. I'm on patrol! I'm on patrol!
Say again, Deputy?
The Maniac's in the mailbox!
And then they run into this Sasquatch-looking Titan. The Scout, or maybe he's a Garrison member, gets torn in half.
Mika, he's the number 2 member of the Scouts to Levi himself. Like, he's number 2 in physical abilities, and he gets his shit wrecked.
Wrecked immediately, and it's the giant Sasquatch Titan and a bunch of other Titans that seem to follow this Titan's orders, because this Titan can talk. We've never seen that happen before. It's the Beast Titan. And
he sounds like Barry White.
Barry walks up to Mika and he goes, I'm fairly certain we speak the same language.
Dude, verbatim, that's what he
and
says.
He goes, that's some interesting gear you got on, baby. Mind if I take it off your hand? And This poor guy just had his legs eaten or snapped in half. He's paralyzed. Which, by the way, the Beast Titan picks up one of the Titans and like crushes him in his hand and throws him.
That's how he beats him.
After listening to him, and he takes his ODM gear, and we're wondering, well, what's is there like a colony of Titans somewhere, and they're learning how to take out these people? What's going on? And the Beast Titan walks off with this dude's ODM gear, and then he goes, "All right, you can finish off your stack."
Yeah. And then we switch to Connie, who goes to his hometown, and it's desoided.
It's desoided. Except for one part, which is his mom, who is a Titan, and she is upside. She's on her back on his home. Her eyes are open. She's not moving. She's alive, but he just now that's Connie's thing now.
Yeah.
Like that's the price of war on him. Is his mom's a Titan? He can't really do anything about it.
Yeah, and that's when Irvin and Hanji realize that all Titans come from people.
From people, yeah. It's like a chicken run moment, but Attack on Titan.
So what happens is Connie ends up regrouping with the rest of the majority of the major characters.
Yes.
They're in a tower. He's with Rhina, Bertold, Krista, Ymir, and Connie, and then Titans start attacking them. They don't know what to do, and Ymir turns into a Titan because I guess everyone they know is a fucking Titan in secret.
Everybody's a Titan. It's like it's what's cake and what's not.
Yeah.
Like they're on top of a tower, right? And then she just jumps and does the bites her hand, and she's a Titan, and is a weird looking Titan.
Very weird, like a gremlin looking Titan.
Yeah, and her and Astoria have a thing, and she tells. Ymir tells Astoria. Krista. Well, there you go. Ymir tells Krista, no more secrets, be yourself, and she becomes a Titan. And is it in that season where Krista reveals that she's Astoria, and that's important because she is of the royal bloodline. The Rices. Her name is Astoria Rice, and she is capable of producing a kid that has the power of one of these abnormal Titans, one of the 9, one of the found. So we're finding that's. I don't know if this is a season 3.
It's a season 3.
It's a season 3 reveal. Okay, all right. So I'll hold off on it.
But that's a great reveal.
Yeah, Ymir is a very important part of this story.
Yes.
And in season 2, we're still very confused. But we find out about the Attack Titan. Is that what we find out? Like
Season 3 we'll find what the Attack Titan does.
Okay.
But Season 2, after the Ymir reveal that she's a Titan and she gets her shit wrecked, everyone's recovering on one of the walls, and in one of the most blasé reveals in the history of like television, Eren is off to the side with Rhina and Bertold, and Rhina goes, "Oh, by the way, Eren, I'm the armored, Bertold's the colossal. You got to come with us."
I'm the armored Titan. He's the colossal.
That was insane. That I rewound and watched like 6 times because I was like, that was not a Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. It was they're on the top of the. Because first, does Bertold or Rhina goes, our mission was to end humanity, and Bertold's like, shut the fuck up.
He's like, what are you doing?
And then he goes, yo, all right, listen. It's us. It's Scooby-Doo. They took the mask off themselves, and he goes, "I was the armored. He's the, and you got to come with us."
The villains you've been fighting the entire time. It's us.
It's us. We've been fighting alongside you. We know all your tactics. I'm the one who carved all that into Annie's hand and told her where to go. She's like, come with us. We got to get Annie, and we'll tell you where we're going. And then, boom, that's Eren. Eren plays it kind of cool at first. He doesn't want everyone else to know what he just found out.
And he also doesn't want to believe it because Rhina was like an older brother.
It was his older brother. He lost all his family, and he had Mikasa, which is like an annoying little sister that he loves and is very protective. And Armin, but like, God, that's...
he's the armor Titan now. Oh God.
It's like, yeah, we cannot have Armin find out about this because we're low on resources, and he will literally shit himself. Yeah. And I don't want to smell that for a whole summer.
Thank God I wore the brown pants.
I can't join the scout regiment. The cloaks is green. My shit's a brown.
I have IBS.
And I mean, everybody in this universe should.
Seriously.
I would have IBS for 5 years, not knowing where the Colossal's going to come, but that IBS will go right away when I find out it's Bertold. And once that happens, does he transform into the Colossal again?
So yeah, Rhina and Eren fight, and Eren's actually beating Rhina, but Bertold is the Colossal, so he just knocks Eren out.
Yeah, he has no idea how to really fight him. And I'm Foggy Nelson on this. What happened at the end of Season 2?
So Season 2, Bertold and Rhina kidnap Eren, and they take Ymir with them too. and that's when Irvin leads a charge. He leads the rest of the scouts to go after them. And this is when Bertolt gets really honest. And like Jean and Connie and Sasha and Mikas and Armin, they're all confronting them. They're like, how could you betray us? And Bertolt's like, we didn't want to do this. Like, even though we were lying, when we were training with you guys, that was the happiest moments of our lives. This was genuine. Like, you don't know what me and Ryan are doing, and it's horrible what we're doing, but we're being forced into this.
And that makes you wonder, by who?
Exactly.
And there's no narrator of the show, so you're plugged along, and that's why it's not a show to watch with your phone. Like, you are plugged into every goddamn detail here. And then we get to the conclusion, which is...
Because Irvin is just a fucking legend, Irvin realizes the way to save Eren is there were some abnormal Titans that were going after them. Irvin leads the Titans straight at Rhina and Bertolt, gets his arm chopped off by a Titan while he's in the air, tells everyone to march on, gets saved with one arm, jumps into Rhina and saves Eren.
Yeah, just... And this is... The show is like the manga, where every season the art evolved.
Yes.
It like got insane. Like, it had no right being that gangster.
Yeah.
Like, that whole sequence with
that Gangsta-licious.
Gangsta-licious, goddammit. Like, reading and watching season 2, this is early on in the show, and I know there's is it Funimation that's doing the animation for this studio?
I don't know. I forgot who does 1 through 3. Season 4 is done by MapUp.
Which is, I mean, just incredible. But I mean, still, for anime, you watch it dubbed, and there's a lot of picture that's just slowly moving because they can't really translate or moving around. But still, it's just the art and the animation in something like this. If you are not an anime person, this is the one to start developing appreciation for. This is the way. And then, is that when we get him saying "not yet"?
That's when Eren is saved by Irvin, but he can't turn into a Titan anymore. Him and Levi are cornered by Titans, including that same smiling Titan that killed his mom. Hannes appears.
Yes,
but ends up getting his shit wrecked.
Yeah, he tries to avenge his mother, and then he gets, and Eren doesn't get the coordinate at this point.
Well, this is when Eren punches the smiling Titan in human form.
Yeah, because she's going to eat him, and then he goes and hits her, and something happens, and then all the Titans start. He's able to just start controlling them, and Rhina is going, of all the people, why did that have to go to you? God damn it, now we have to retreat. This whole thing, this 5-year plan, however long they've been planning this, is just down the drain right now. And Titans are listening to Eren, and we don't know why. We just know every season Eren Yeager becomes more and more of a badass.
Yes.
He's like Anakin Skywalker, you know? He's like, he's half Mom
He's
issues.
a lot like Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, I mean, the same way Anakin hated the Tusken Raiders, Eren hates the Titans, and Eren doesn't listen to anybody, and he's all powerful, even though he's not. And if he's not, he's going to figure out a way to do it, and not just the men, but the women and the children too. And season 2 ends with us filled with more questions than we've ever had about the show. And season 3 is when
we know Eren can control the Titans when he punches the smiling one who he kills.
Yes.
But then he can't control them anymore. So he's just like, why was I just able to control it at that one point?
And we have no idea.
We have no
why.
idea.
And that leads. Does he know about Historia at this point?
So we're about to find that out in season 3.
Okay, alright, yeah, so this is season 3. Take us into season 3.
Yeah, so season 3 is 2 parts. So in season 3, that priest...
you have the uprising.
We have the uprising, that priest who talked about the
walls.
Exactly, he gets murdered.
Yeah.
Irvin starts looking into it, and the king does not like that. The king ends up making all the scouts enemy of the state. And you realize why Irvin is interested in finding out the origins of the Titans so much, because his father was a professor who had this idea that the king has power over the citizens and erase their memories so they don't know where they came from. And after his dad started saying that messaging, he ends up killed.
Yeah, the government is corrupt. We
Correct.
pretty much figure out, and the solution to fix that corrupt government become the key figures of Aaron and Historia, who is very protective over her.
Yeah.
And we also, so her ascension is very important, and learning about the Rices we learned in the season, and some other incredible questions of where certain characters have been. And we also get the introduction of Kenny.
Kenny!
Big old Kenny Ackerman.
Kenny Ackerman. Kenny the Ripper.
The badass everybody wanted Boba Fett to be. That is Kenny
Kenny
Ackerman.
Kelly Ripper.
Kenny Kelly Ripper, man. And we get the secrets of the walls, and we learn the true history behind the walls. I have the existence of the world beyond the ocean, and the Rice's ability to alter memories and control Titans, and it deepens the mystery and the stakes for the battle against the oppression that they're facing.
That's exactly it. This is the first time they're not facing enemies from the outside; they're facing enemies from within. Yeah,
within Shiganshina, in this island, like there are people there who want this to keep happening. The Rices are kind of like.
They're the true royalty. The person who they thought was the king was a patsy.
Yes.
Rod Rice is the true king.
Yes.
And
he's Historia's dad, right?
He's Historia's dad, and so we actually start getting the answers to our questions in season 3, part 1. So while Irvin is on trial and he's going to be hanged for treason,
right?
Aaron and Historia are kidnapped by Kenny. Kenny is Levi's uncle. That's why he has these physical gifts.
Yes. And what were you saying?
Oh yeah, so I was just and so this is when Rod meets Aaron and Historia, and we finally start to learn the origins of where things come from. So it turns out the Rice family controls one of the 9 Titans, as you said, the founding Titan, the most powerful one. That has the ability to control all other Titans, and they also have the ability to change people's memories. And so on that day when the Colossal and the Armored Titan initially attacked, Grisha Yeager came in.
Aaron's
dad came in where the Rice family was, murdered the entire Rice family except for Rod, and stole the founding Titan. Then found.
How do you steal the Titan? By the way, how do you
that's a great point. Yeah, so when one Titan kills another Titan who has the power, he eats them. Yeah, that's how you get the power.
And it's in the spinal fluid or something, right? And that's how you get the power. And so Grisha gets the founding Titan power.
Exactly.
And I just wanted to...
Oh, yeah, no, that was great. Yeah, and then he finds Aaron, injects him with the serum, turns him into a Titan. Aaron eats Grisha, and so Aaron gets Grisha's power, the attack Titan, and then he also gets the founding Titan. And so that's what happened to Grisha.
That's a double gangster move right there, man. Like, the founding Titan has the ability to control all the Titans in the walls, essentially. So, like... Aaron's got the upper hand on everything, but he doesn't know that yet. He doesn't really know about it.
And Aaron wants to die now. He's just like, fuck, my dad did all these things? Like...
Yeah, he has spent all this time looking for Pop, and then figures out, oh my god, he drugged and did all this to me. It's like that Child Called It book. But Aaron learns to... the responsibility and what that power means is reflected through Historia, because he realizes that they're going to turn her into a baby farm and keep making these Titans for as long as things go on. So he starts to understand the responsibility of the power he possesses.
And Rod wants Historia to turn into a Titan, eat Aaron, take the powers. But Historia's like, wait, hold up. All this time, you guys had the ability to control Titans. So you could have killed the Titans.
You could have done this.
You could have, but you didn't. You did nothing.
The power.
You had the you just wanted to stay in charge, and these Titans helped you stay in power. She's like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Sorry, you could cut out the middle finger.
I think we've hit the mark.
Okay.
We're good. We're good. I'll throw up the middle finger. This is for Rod Rice.
Middle finger up to my competition.
Right.
So Rod turns himself into into like this
giant,
disgusting Titan.
Because he's like yelling. They're after Historia. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then the something breaks. The serum breaks, and he licks it. And he's like, I'm coming. Yeah. And then he's like, he turns into a paraplegic Titan. Like he doesn't walk. He just crawls. It's gross.
He's like twice the size of the Colossal.
Yeah, it's not a Titan you would want to take home to meet your parents. I'm not on board.
Mom, Dad,
meet Titan.
Meet Rod.
He looks like a Rod.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
I hope you packed enough for 42. And he is going to a wall rose.
He's just like walking. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Why did he even turn himself into a Titan?
I think he's just like, it was like an impulsive, stupid move. He's just like, fuck, I'm out of power. He realized that Irvin at this point simultaneously exposed how corrupt the royal family was.
Oh, that's right, and that's how he got off, right?
Exactly.
Like, oh, because this is a show where every time somebody, like one of the big three on your shirt says something, they get persecuted for it, and then by the end of the season they're like, you were right, you were right, you were right. And Irvin is the hero of this show. I think it's very hard to argue that there's anybody who has more of a... He's the heart of Attack on Titan, because everybody sacrificed a lot.
But his in particular.
His in particular, his sacrifice of his arm, his sacrifice of the amount of times he put his life on the line for a cause that he stood alone, even though nobody else would stand with him aside from Levi and
It's like that speech, what's the Stellan Skarsgård character in Andor? Is that like, he's like...
Oh yeah, he's like, I'm fighting to live to see a sunset I'm never gonna see.
So what do I sacrifice? Everything!
And that's exactly what Irvin's doing, and that's a commander. That's leadership, man, because he's doing it for... I mean, we'll get to what his ultimate sacrifice was, but he was right here, man. And Hanj, I love her so much because she laughs in the face of danger because she's so curious.
She's always smiling.
She's always smiling.
I'm always smiling.
I'm always smiling. Now I know the Titan side. Where are we at in season 3?
So Levi also, while this is going on, he ends up beating the shit out of Kenny. Kenny has a syringe that can turn you into a Titan.
Because Kenny's been working for the Rice family.
Exactly.
He's contracted into them.
And Historia ends up killing her dad. She kills Rod Rice. Irvin makes her the new queen, so Historia is in charge. They finally have an ally in charge. And Kenny is at a tree. He's dying. He's talking to Levi.
It's one of the best moments in the show. I love that moment because Kenny's pissed because he finds out that serum is just going to turn him into a regular Titan. It's not like...
Oh no, he's pissed because it won't work on him.
It won't work on him because he's
not
royal blood. Yeah, he's an Ackerman, so it's just going to... and so that's how Rod and Astoria and Aaron are able to have their trio of escapes. And Levi finally has an opportunity to kill Kenny, who is this...
Kennedy.
Levi.
I could have been a better uncle to you.
I could have been a better uncle, and I left you because I wasn't ready to be a dad.
Yeah, there was a worm in my brain this entire time.
Right. And I thought that was one of the most heartbreaking and also just so revealing because Levi doesn't really react to Kenny saying, I left you because I wasn't ready to be a father yet. And Levi sort of just has this moment of like, all right, well, I'm taking this syringe, man, and peace out. Thank you for literally nothing. Thank you for making me a killer, I guess. And then when he goes back, is that when Armin's fighting Bertold?
So we're about to get like... So they.
This is the big Irvin moment. Did we skip past the Beast Titan?
Yeah. So so basically, after all of this, now Historia's in charge.
Yes.
Irvin's like, okay, now we're gonna do the thing that I've wanted to do. I want to find out what the fuck is in Grisha Yeager's basement. We are going to liberate Shiganshina. We are going to plug up.
Surrounded by Titans.
Exactly. We're going to plug up Wall Maria, and they launch a mission. They're getting ready. But they see all these Titans are there, and not only are there Titans, there are 4 intelligent Titans. There's the Beast Titan.
Beast Titan's
There's
there.
the Armored Titan, Rhina. There's the Colossal Titan, Bertold. And then there's the Car Titan.
The Car Titan we've never seen before, and we also see a bunch of Titans lined up, ready, so they're under control and of something. And Irvin has no questions. He just goes, all right, here's the plan, boys. We're all going to die, okay? Yeah. But we're going to die... not before hearing the coolest speech you've ever heard in your entire life.
Oh my god.
And if I heard that speech, I would have charged too, god damn it.
I would just cut in, because I can't do it justice, I would just cut in what J. Michael Tatum's Commander Irvin speech is here, because it is such a hype machine.
My soldiers do not buckle or yield when faced with the cruelty of this world. My soldiers push forward. My soldiers scream out. My soldiers run!
And even the ones that are scared, they do such a good job at illustrating them as scared but inspired because of what the commander is telling them there. Because it's this or all those Titans kill everybody they know. They're going right through the walls and everybody's getting trampled and nobody's going to find out any mystery. Irvin here is fighting for the future. He's fighting for tomorrow. He's fighting for everybody.
For a sunrise he'll never see.
For the sunrise he will never see. And what's the guy who eventually becomes a Jaegerist? What's his name?
Flock.
Flock saves Erwin.
Yes, because we basically have 3 battles going on. So we have Erwin the Scouts versus the Beast Titans. So they're basically a diversion where they all get their shit wrecked. But Levi comes in through the back and is able to fuck up the Beast Titan, turns him into human form. But the Beast Titan is saved at the last minute by the Card Titan.
By the Card Titan, and that's where we start to get the rivalry between those two, because I think the Beast Titan has heard about Levi and his skills, but he took out every single one of his homie Titans and then took him out. So like,
he doesn't take Levi seriously until Levi fucks his shit
fucks everything up, because this Beast Titan is a mastermind of some sort, and we don't know what, but he's got a plan for everything, and boom, this dude just, this human who is an Ackerman, but more importantly, I think Levi as Levi is is more important than him being an Ackerman, because he has one goal, and his goal is to do exactly what he set out to do, and nothing. And we see that throughout the show, almost to a fault. There was a huge popularity and focus on Levi in this season, because he had, first of all, a huge fan. People were swooning over this guy. How could you not? During the Uprising arc, his backstory with Kenny Ackerman sort of made you weren't sympathetic to him, you were more or less inspired by him. You know, like the fact that
you empathized with it, because you understood where he came from.
Yeah, and it helped solidify him as probably, outside of Aaron and I'd say he's probably the most popular character in the show because of his complexity and his pride.
I'd say he's probably the most popular character on the show.
Yeah,
he's more popular than Aaron.
He is exactly an anime combat prowess king.
Yeah.
You know, and there was I have a note here about the critical acclaim for this season of the show because of its adaptation to the manga and its exceptional animation quality and the handling of the shift of a series-focused, oriented battles to political and drama back-to-back action. Like, so it was like the good version of Phantom Menace.
Yes.
So where you see both, and it ends with another big mystery.
Yeah, which we're about to get to, but there are 2 other fights that we have to, because there's the Levi and versus the Beast Titan.
Yes.
Then Aaron and Armin fight Bertold the Colossal, but before we get to that, the rest of the Scouts fight Rhina in the Armored Titan form, and they use these new weapons. They use the rocket launchers.
Yeah, the missile thing.
The thunder sticks.
Thunder sticks. Yeah, they gotta come up with a name department in this thing. What do we call it? Thunder sticks. Thunder. I was gonna call it a lightning whip, but if that don't work, I guess thunder sticks would be cool. And those are cool, man. Like they throw them and then they blow up. They're a cooler weapon than that.
No.
You can't beat it.
It's way cooler than watching 10 episodes of a fucking Spirit Bomb.
I mean, you're making me more and more not want to watch DBZ.
Yeah, they're way better animes to watch.
They're going to come down your throats for saying that.
And DBZ is great, it's just too much filler. I know, I have a cat. People came down my throat for saying Michael Keaton was the #4 Batman.
That's true. And I just sat there and let it happen.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, Keaton's my #4. They're like, die in the Holocaust.
Stay away from history.
I'm like, what? Where did that come from?
Oh my God. After saying that we liked his part in The Flash. Yeah, anyway, I'm glad you're here with us and none of your relatives.
But the vast majority of you guys are wonderful.
Yeah, just cool it with the anti-Semitic remarks, as Patrick Bateman would say.
You like Huey Lewis?
You like Huey Lewis and the Jews?
Yeah, so then it's Aaron and Armin versus Bertold.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Bertold, man, that's fighting him's got a. No wonder he's got that heat power, because touching his skin is probably really like my skin. I lost like a lot of skin on my thumb when I was in Arizona. I don't know how, but like then the heat was like drying it. And it was
your epidermis is showing.
My epidermis was showing everywhere, but like the heat was all on it, and I was sensitive, and all I could think about was the Colossal, who's like, as soon as on my shirt here, and he's all just like bare and vulnerable, man. Thank you. It says no hope. It's hard. You can't take out the Colossal's neck. You can't take him out through the nape. Plus, it's impossible to get close to him because he radiates so much steam that's like a sauna times 3,000, essentially, right? That's what's going on with him.
And so basically, Armin goes at him head on, is being burned to a crisp.
Yeah.
And Bertold is like, Armin, you're like one of the smartest guys I know. What are you doing?
Why are you doing this?
But to radiate steam, he has to burn through his skin.
Right.
And so Eren is supposedly on the ground in Titan form, but it was all a ruse. Eren actually left the Titan form, was in human form, is in ODM gear, comes out through the back, and takes Bertold out.
Takes Bertold out, and Armin is now a barbecue.
He's been burned to a crisp.
Completely burned. And then he's on a rooftop and they're mourning the loss of Armin. And it's Eren, Levi shows up, then Mikas is there. Is Connie there with them?
Yeah, they're all there.
And
Rhina, the Beast Titan, and the Car Titan have escaped. So the only one that's been captured is Bertold.
Yeah.
But Levi has the syringe from Kenny.
He has the syringe, and Levi is getting ready to give the syringe to Armin to save him because they realize if they give that to him and he eats Bertold, then Armin lives. But Flock shows up with Commander Erwin. And Levi, being loyal to his commander, goes to give him the syringe just because it's going to save his life. And Erwin's last act is refusing the life-saving syringe, slapping his hand up and going, no, this isn't for me.
I'm out.
I'm out. Don't take this from me. I'm not the future. I got us to where we had to go. Give this to the next generation. And Levi reluctantly gives it to Armin, and Armin is saved. And it's one of the most beautiful moments in the show because Armin is now, if you thought he was a nervous wreck before and terrified, now he has all this pressure of Erwin just gave his life for me, did he even make the right decision? Everyone just kind of has to, but I mean the one thing that Armin is going for him, is a lot going for him, but all of his plans, though outside of the box, usually work.
Yeah.
Like everything he does works.
He's the second best tactician there after Erwin.
And that's why he led, that's why he gave his life for him. And then the season ends with them pretty much knocking out all the Titans on the island. They're not scared to leave anymore.
And they make it to the sea.
And they make it to the sea that Armin's been talking about his whole life. And then when they get to the sea, what's that quote Eren has? That's just, it's so shattering.
But before he makes it to the sea, they make it to the cellar. The cellar that...
Oh yeah, Grisha's dad's basement, and they find a picture. And they go, what the fuck is this?
These pictures don't exist.
They don't exist. And then he's like, there's a whole world, there's a whole thing you don't even know about. Check this out. And then that's what leads them to the sea.
Because that's where we get the origin. And this is like,
This is the big reveal. This is 3 seasons lead up to this.
This is the big, it turns out humanity on the island, they are not the only people that are left.
It's punishment. It's like a concentration camp.
It's like there's an entire world left that they just didn't know about. And it turns out that Grisha comes from a place called Marley, and everyone on the island is a member of a race called the Eldians. And the Eldians are people that descend from this woman named Ymir. That's who the character Ymir is named after. Yeah, and as a result, they have the ability to turn into Titans. And there was an Eldian empire for many generations that basically subjugated the world.
Starting with King Fritz, who's this evil dude who Ymir was a slave of, and she is some... The thing, I know this is a later season 4.
No, I think we can just do it. Yeah, let's do that.
Somebody, one of Fritz's pigs got away, and he threatens to take everybody's eye out, or just the person who did its eye out, and they all single out Ymir. She runs away. His guards hunt her, shoot her with an arrow. She falls into the water, and I don't know what's that thing called.
It's like a centipede, Squidward-like creature.
Whatever it is, I'm gonna bond with you. And she gets the founding Titan power, and he goes, I'm gonna reward you with my seed, and every kid she has gets one of these powers, and when she still jumps in he was a bad king, a really bad dude,
and she sacrifices
somebody tries to take him out. She jumps in front of the arrow, dies, and he orders her kids to eat her so they can get her powers, and then that's how the 9 founding Titans become a thing. And King Fritz has this. Were you talking about the war?
So and because of that, because they now have the 9 Titans, Fritz and his descendants use that to subjugate the world.
Yeah.
And then eventually Fritz has a descendant 100 years before the story starts, Carl Fritz, who's just like, holy fuck, what have we done? We are horrible people. So Karl Fritz teams with the Tiber family that control the 9th Titan, the Warhammer Titan.
Right.
And they basically side with Marley, overthrow the Eldians. Karl Fritz then takes a lot of the remaining Eldians to the island of Paradise, erases their memory, but then erects these 3 walls built out of Titans and tells the rest of the world, hey, we're just going to hang here. We fucked up. I'm sorry. We're going to live our lives here. But if you ever start with us again, we are going
That's your ass, Mr.
that's your ass. We are going to kick off this rumbling, and we are going to destroy the world.
And he never meant it. He was never going to.
He never was going to.
Those Titans were just there to keep his people safe.
Yes, but he didn't take all the Eldians with him.
No, he didn't.
Some of them remained in Marley and were treated as second-class citizens. There's a lot of
get the parallels.
This is where the Nazis and the Jews, because they have to wear stars on them. Yeah, exactly, live in internment zones, and that's who Grisha was. He grew up as part of the Eldian in the Eldian ghettos within Marley.
With his son. Okay.
Yeah, and like one day, him and his sister just go watch a blimp up in the air, and because they left the internment zone, his sister is murdered by dogs. Like a guy gets
his dog against cats.
How would you do against dogs? You're talking Chihuahuas or Rottweilers? Should do fine against cats.
But that's what turns Grisha. That's his thing that makes him a quote-unquote restorationist.
Yes.
Which are like the rebels against the Marleyans. Because all the Eldians are being punished for the sins of the father.
Yes.
Essentially.
And he meets his lover, Dina Fritz.
Dina Fritz.
And they have a son, Zeke.
Zeke,
and they basically...
they condition him to be a child soldier, essentially.
Yeah, they're like, you are going to get one of the Titan powers. You are going to go to Paradis. You're going to steal the Founding Titan because you have royal blood, so you can control the Founding Titan. He goes, and then we are going to retake the world, and we are going to free ourselves. And Zeke is just like, bro, no.
I want a dad.
Yeah, I want to play catch.
Yeah, and he rats on Grisha and Dina Fritz, and they get sent to Paradise, which Paradise, now we see the connection there, which is essentially just they're lined up against a wall, and they get injected with the Titan serum, and they're turned into Titans. Then we find out Dina Fritz is the Titan that ate Aaron's mom, which is one of the craziest reveals ever in the show. She's the smiling Titan. She's the scary Titan. And right before they're about to do it to Grisha, we find out that there's a restorationist spy who is an officer that has the power of that has the attack Titan power, and tells Grisha, "You got to eat me, and this is how we're still gonna win."
So he kills all the Marleyan soldiers, including the one that had killed Grisha's sister all those years ago. He tells Grisha, you gotta carry on my legacy. I'm a secret Eldian. He's about to give him his powers. His name is Aaron Kruger, so that's where Aaron's name comes from.
Kruger later in the show.
Exactly.
And also his first name.
And his first name. But before he gives him his powers, he says...
I love this part.
He says, so we gotta save Armin and Mikasa. And Grisha goes, who? Who the fuck are Armin and Mikasa? And Aaron Kruger goes, I don't know. I have no idea.
If you can't do that, it'll only repeat itself. This cruel history, these foolish mistakes, they'll repeat. You have to see this through. Complete your mission and save Mikasa and Armin.
Mikasa? Armin? Who are they?
I don't know.
It turns out the Attack Titan can see into the future.
The Attack Titan can see into the future, and that's a great thing to know. Otherwise, you're just looking for kids. Where's Armin and Mikasa? Are they safe? Yeah, and then we get season 4 starts off. It's the first season to not feature. The first half, I would say, doesn't feature parody at all. Yeah. It features Marley, and we're seeing what Marley is to the rest of the world, and it is essentially it's imperial. You know, it uses the Titan powers, it uses the armor, it uses the beast.
Those who do not study history are doomed to repeat its mistakes. They become the new Eldian Empire.
That's exactly what they've become. Wow, I did not think about that, but that's literally what they're doing there. And that makes a lot of sense as to why a lot of them changed toward the end. Wow, I didn't realize that. That's beautiful. I feel like Trump. Wow, you're just telling me that for the first time? Yeah, No big difference between King Fritz and the Beast Titan. Beast Titan, big guy. You look at him, I go,
Dookie Carl, that's what they're saying. I'm not saying it.
Hearts and lives to the cause. I said, I have splints in my shoes. I can't fight.
We need to overthrow the Malian government.
The Malian government.
1%
1%
of land.
Titan powers belong to 99% of Eldians in this country. Let me be clear. We will be dropping Titans all over them, and I don't care if they're civilians or not.
I think I'm gonna fuck the female Titan.
I had a Mali missile crisis, if you know what I'm saying.
I'm saying when the Malian government does it, it's not illegal.
Look at the female Titan. Don't you just want to go hard?
Yes.
We get. I love the opening of the Marley arc.
The opening theme, or just the
the theme is the best theme.
That shit slaps.
Because if you don't ever skip the theme song on the show if you're watching. I know it could be long, but you love it, and it changes. And you have my favorite character on the show, though many hate her, Gabi. I love Gabi. And Falco, who are they're sold.
You know who Gabi is like? She's like Damian Wayne. She's like this little piece of shit that does all these shitty things and then goes to the redemption arc, and now it's like we're supposed to root for Damian now. It's like, no, fuck Damian.
No, I remember what you did, homie.
Yeah, that's what Gabi is.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something that's broken in me that goes, I could raise her as a daughter. Gabi, they're fighting some country to take its oil, some vaguely Middle Eastern country that we don't get an answer for. And
but Watto was running it.
Yeah, Watto's running it.
Titans are stealing my oil.
Oh yes, we're going to send the anti-armament train. And we see Gabi has this plan. So this country that they're fighting with Titans has technology to fight against the Titans. Technology that scares the Marlians, that knows that they can't go up against it. So Gabi has an idea, because they have the Armored Titan, and the Armored Titan is going to run through and puncture the wall. But the problem is there's a train that has a bunch of guns that can penetrate the Armored Titan's armor, and that's going to slow them down and ruin their plan. So Gabi goes, okay, I'm going to pretend, here's my plan. She goes out and she has something tied to her ankle, and she's limping, and she's waving a white flag, and there's two guys in a booth with a sniper, and they're going, take her out, take her out. And he goes, I'm not taking out a kid, you take out a kid. And then right when the train is about to cross, the thing on her ankle was a bunch of bombs. She throws them on the rocks. Boom, train goes up. They make room for the Armored Titan. We see Zeke, who is the Beast Titan, come out.
That's a crazy rumor. Zeke, the Grisha's son,
is the Beast Titan.
He's the Beast Titan we've been fighting this entire time. It's Aaron's half-brother.
It's Aaron's half-brother, and he is leading Rhina and these troops into this battle, and we go into Marley, and we find out more of Zeke's story, why he ratted on his father. A big part of it has to play with this guy called Mr. Sava, who has the Beast Titan, and he doesn't have it because he wants to be a soldier. And only Eldians can get these powers, by the way. It's something very specific to Eldians. That's why Historia is so important, because and Aaron kept her identity secret because he didn't want her turned into a baby mill. And Mr. Stava is more of a scientist, and he wanted to learn about the Titans, but the downside to having Titan powers is you live 13 years, and he's coming toward the end, and he plays catch with Zeke, and that's all Zeke ever wanted, was an old man to toss the ball around, because Zeke had kind of a shitty father, as evidenced by him having more focus on him being the chosen one who's going to save his people, and turning his other son into a Titan, never being a dad. But they wrote him so well as a doctor that you don't think of him as that. You think of him as a caregiver, the people's giver, do no harm. Mr. Sava finds out that his parents are restorationists, and he goes, the only way, they're going to send you to paradise. And he develops a father-son relationship with him, and he goes, I don't want you to die, Zeke. I don't want this to happen. There's only one way out of this. You got to turn your parents in. That's the only way we're going to save you. You got to turn them in. And he goes, all right, I guess I'm going to do it. And Zeke gets the Beast, and Zeke's plan is trusted by the Marleyan government. His brain is.
But he's got his own plan.
He's got his own plan, which is the euthanization plan. The euthanization plan in Zeke's mind is the only way we're going to end this Titan suffering is if we kill all Eldians. If we render them useless, of making babies. So he wants to get the founding Titan to basically give them all a vasectomy. Snip, snap, snip, snap.
Exactly. Like Zeke and Reiner really shine in this part of the story.
Yes.
We get why Zeke is doing what he's doing, and then we see Reiner, and Reiner is a broken man.
Reiner's broken.
He's got PTSD. He regrets everything he did. Reiner wants to die.
Yeah, he's done. He begs for death at one point. Where's Aaron?
So Falco has made friends with this soldier who is disabled.
Falco comes back from the thing.
Yeah.
The fight that just happened, and they find one of the soldiers
named Kruger.
Kruger, who's shell shocked.
And
he becomes buddies with him.
Yeah. And so Reiner meets Kruger via Falco, and Reiner's like, "Holy fuck, that's Aaron. Aaron's been here the entire time."
Also, Aaron does a badass thing where he goes to his grandfather, though.
Yes,
That scene with his grandfather, and he makes he goes there purely just to make his grandfather relive.
To twist the knife.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, you killed your daughter, didn't you? You're responsible for it. It makes him go crazy. But we really aren't sure. Falco is running letters back to Parody unknowingly through Kruger.
Yeah.
Aaron's sending letters to Parody telling him where he is, telling him, come through, I got the plan, we're good. None of them know he's there. He went on his own after they saw the Zeke.
He's just been working with Zeke.
He's just been working with Zeke this whole time, and then we get to... The Tybers come through because they know, all right, our plan that's taken, 7 years? It failed. Our plan to get the founding Titan, it didn't work. So we got to call in the Tybers who have to come in, and they have to basically tell them that the time for all of us to go attack Parody is now. But they think they're catching them off guard, unknowing that Aaron's infiltrated Marley this whole time, and he gets Reiner in a basement while the Tiber is making the speech.
Turns into a Titan, kills Willie Tyber, who's the de facto leader of Marley.
But doesn't hold the Titan.
Doesn't hold the Titan. His sister does.
His sister does.
Yeah.
And then we get some of the coolest action sequences in
Studio
Attack.
Mappa just shining here.
Absolutely beautiful. We get the introduction of the Jaw Titan, which is beautifully designed and animated and scary.
Yeah.
Aaron
because Amir has died, so they've given it to Porco, who was the younger brother of this guy Marcel, who Amir originally killed to take the power.
Yes, yeah, and Aaron has to get the Warhammer Titan, but the Warhammer Titan is able to make this stuff out of just nothing, and Aaron can't get its nape. It's not working, and he finds out it has a power cord connected to the same shell casing that Annie has. And Aaron uses the Jaw Titan as a nutcracker, cracks its jaw, drinks the blood of the Warhammer Titan. Now he's got 3 Titans inside of him, and he just throws the Jaw Titan away?
He throws the Jaw Titan away, takes the Warhammer Titan's power. Meanwhile, Armin, Mikasa, Levi, the forces come through. Levi seemingly kills Zeke, and then everyone makes their retreat. That's when we find out that Zeke and Aaron have been working together.
Right.
Aaron planned this attack and ended up killing all these civilians, has essentially become a villain, did not get the permission of Hanji, who's now the commander of the Scouts, or Levi, but as they're making their escape, Gabby is infuriated.
Because she just lost so much. They just attacked her home. What's happening to Gabby is essentially what happened to Aaron.
Yeah.
They had the same exact thing, and she does what he does, which is, they're all my enemies, Island Devils. They're all known as Island Devils. Reiner has this conversation with Falco, because Gabby is she's a Titan contender, right?
Yes.
And Reiner is the one that tells Falco, hey, we can't let her get this. We got to protect her, right? You're going to be the one to get the Titan? Okay, cool. You're going to get the Titan. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. And so he's always protecting Gabby. Problem is now Gabby kills one of the soldiers who are on the airships of Parody. Falco jumps up right behind her. Gabby gets up there with a gun and bang, shoots Sasha right in the stomach as they're all celebrating. And Zeke goes, there was a few miscalculations, and then they go, what miscalculations? And it goes, that one. And Sasha dies. She bleeds out,
and Aaron loses the support of all of
everybody.
They're like, this is your fault.
It would have been a plan that they would have forgiven, but Sasha's death was on his hands because he wouldn't coordinate it, because it was a fuck you guys, screw you guys, I'm going to Marley. And Sasha died because of Aaron, and everyone takes it hard. It's probably the most human death on AOT just because there's nothing they can do. They're in the air, she's bleeding out, they're telling her to hold on. It's one of their comrades. Miraculously, none of them died. And it's funny that you said the thing about me, you, and Slater, Connie, Sasha, and, you know, because when Connie is asked how he's doing, there's a line in there that always reminded me of Slater, because, you know, she's like my sister, and he was like, she was like half of me, so it feels like half of me is gone now, and it was beautiful how they continually remind you the humanity of war, and nobody is, by this time in the show you realize nobody's right.
Yeah,
there's no solution,
and this kind of radicalizes Connie too. Connie's like, you know what? I just lost my best friend. I lost my sister. I don't care about anything except
my mom's a titan.
Yeah, I'm fixing my mom. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I fucking care about now.
And now that, once they get back to the island, Gabi's a prisoner, Falco is too, and Aaron's in jail. Aaron's locked up. They locked his ass up.
Yeah, they're like, you're a war criminal.
Yeah, and he's like, I can get out anytime I want to. I like being here.
Yeah.
And I love Hanji being like, are you talking to yourself? I love how you're talking to yourself. What are you saying? What made you want to do this? And she's doing a good job of being scout commander, but they all are really trying to figure. They know now about Marley, and they know Marley is probably going to come get their asses because they just did Shigachina however many years ago to Marley, and they got to prepare for war. And what happens? What are they in the middle of now? They're in season 4.
Yeah, and they're coming for war. But one subplot that I do want to harp on before the war starts is Gabi and Falco escape, and they end up stowing away with his family on Paradis, and it turns out the family is Sasha's family. And Sasha's dad's there, and there was a man who was a Paradis kind of, he was a Marley double agent who ends up joining Paradis, who falls in love with Sasha, and he's crushed by her dad.
He was a cook.
He was a cook.
She loved food.
She loved food. And,
meat, especially because it was such a rarity.
He made her lobster.
Lobster, yeah. He made, and then he found out that Gabi killed her and broke a bottle over, was going to break a bottle over her head, but Falco stepped in the way, and some of the wine, very special wine that nobody was supposed to drink except for the top soldiers, gets into Falco's mouth. And we'll find out the significance of that later, because that is some crazy shit that happens.
Yes, and after that happens, like, he says to Sasha's dad, Mr. Browse, this little shit killed your daughter. Take your revenge. And Mr. Browse is just like, why? What's the point? He goes, hate only begets more hate. He goes, we gotta end the cycle here.
That's what they're doing in this season, or, I mean, that's what him and Armin are doing in this season, or at least trying to. Everybody else is like...
If only he'd said that to Aaron.
If only he had said that to Aaron, but at this point, I don't think... And Aaron knows everything now, right? He knows the past and future. Aaron is just filling in he's just going through the motions.
That's a good point. Actually, we forgot to mention that at the end of season 3, he touches Historia, who has royal blood, and all of a sudden his powers activate, and he sees the future, and he is fucking shook. But we don't know what he saw at this point.
We don't know what he saw. It's kind of like Paul Atreides in Dune.
Yes.
Where he had those visions being like, if I go down there, everybody's going to die. And Aaron, he's very stoic. He's kind of like Luke in Return of the Jedi now. He's kind
or
of
Brent on Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, he knows what he has to do, and he has this tunnel vision of, you guys aren't stopping me. You're not even slowing me down. What I have to do can happen literally at any time. And the studio change, I think, helped explain more themes of war and mortality in this sense, because the final season goes into those gray areas of mortality and the cost of war right away with Sasha. I mean, you can have 3,000 civilians die, but if you're not connected to the character, you know it's sad. It's like Game of Thrones and Cersei blowing up all those kids, but like, you don't know. The way Sasha dies shows you the cost of war, and Aaron shows you the impacts of vengeance and why that is wrong, and it challenges you as a viewer to consider the perspectives of Marleyans and Albions, and wondering who's good and who's evil.
Yeah.
What do we do here?
There's not a right answer.
And that's where the faces of Zeke and Aaron are that, essentially. Am I skipping over anything?
No. It's fantastic insight. Yeah, and then because basically at this point, Zeke has been captured by Levi, and Zeke and Aaron want to touch each other so they can activate the power and ostensibly use Zeke's plan.
Levi caught him in a pretty cool way, though, man. Like that was What did he do? He cut off all his limbs because they could grow back. Then he tied him to a thunder sphere. By now, they're like in all black. They know how to upgrade. They've gotten to see outside technology.
But Zeke is smarter than Levi. And so Zeke basically pulls the pin off the thunder sphere.
The deal was if you move, it's gonna blow you up and you're gonna die. And Zeke does.
Zeke's like, I'm willing to take that risk because you're going with me. And Zeke survives, and Levi is he survives too, but he's fucked up.
Gone. He lost an eye or something.
He lost an eye. He lost fingers. His body is like a shell of itself. And Zeke is like, I know what I gotta do now. I gotta meet Eren. Zeke is going to meet Eren, but meanwhile, Reina and Piek, who's the card titan, and Porco.
Oh, I love Piek.
Piek's the best. They go to invade. Eren's like, he goes, fuck you, Reiner. I'm gonna beat your ass. They go and they all start fighting. And the Marleans know, okay, Zeke is the primary target. So they basically take Zeke out. He's out of Titan form. He's in human form. But Armin and Mikasa are like, you know what? Eren's our guy. We got to help Eren. So the scouts are helping Eren. Eren is coming to meet Zeke, but the Marleyan forces are converging on Zeke. And as you said before, all the top brass drank this wine. And this wine was laced with Zeke's spinal fluid. And if you drink Zeke's spinal fluid, he can turn you into a Titan by screaming.
Into a crazy Titan, yeah. Which he did to all the Levi, when Levi had him in the camp.
Exactly.
And he had him as a prisoner. He turned all of Levi's squad members into Titans, and Levi had to kill all his homies. Now, Falco's got this thing in his blood, too. He's got,
Falco's brother's begging with Zeke. He's like, I know you're going to scream. You can scream, it's fine. Just make sure, just do it when Falco's out of earshot. And Zeke is like, Colt, who's Falco's brother, I'm so sorry.
He doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to, but he has to.
He's got to do it, and then he does it, and then we get, either Eren doesn't make it to Zeke, does he? Right?
No, because, so they all turn into Titans. The tide is turning for Eren and Zeke, but Reina is still in Titan form. He beats the shit out of Eren's Titan, so Eren has to turn into human form to make it out. Meanwhile, Jean and Connie take out Reina, so Eren is running to Zeke. Zeke can't move. Everyone's trying to help Eren, but Gabby's there with a sniper rifle.
Yeah, there's Gabby again.
And she, oh my god, this scene. She shoots Eren. His head comes flying off. The look of horror on Zeke's face, but Zeke makes the catch!
And grabs him just last minute, pops his basketball-headed ass, and then boom.
Boom.
He's back.
He's back. Zeke is able to get Eren before Eren dies, and the Founding Titan is activated. That weird Squidward centipede thing that gave Ymir her powers originally.
We see it come out of his neck, right?
We see it come out of Eren's neck, and all of a sudden, Eren and Zeke disappear.
Yeah, they're gone. They're in the world between worlds, right?
Paths.
Yeah, the paths. What's going on in the paths?
So the paths are a form of it's kind of like an extra plane that connects everyone with Eldian blood to each other via Ymir. And Ymir, the original Titan, is still living there. And Eren and Zeke are there, and Eren is just like, Zeke, bruh, I was never going to do your plan. This is a stupid plan.
You know what's evidenced by that is when they're talking, they show a flashback scene of Eren and Zeke talking, and they're going over the plans, and they're throwing, he's like, we shouldn't shake hands, because we shouldn't touch yet. Instead, just catch this ball. Eren doesn't catch it.
Oh, wow.
He doesn't catch the ball.
That's such a great...
He never intended I'm working.
Oh, my God.
必ずみんなを救ってあげよう。落としちまった。病院暮らしで体がなまっちまったかな。
I've watched this show like 5 times. I never picked up on
that.
That was
when
awesome.
I picked up. I was like, oh yeah. And he was like, and he just goes, sorry. Guess I missed it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Was fucking with him the whole time, and it just shows you like Zeke is always one step ahead, but couldn't see because like.
But Zeke knew Eren was going to betray him too.
He knew it was happening, but at that point, like Zeke was like, "Oh wow, I guess he was like Plankton. I never thought I'd make it this far," you know. And then once they're in the plains, he is that when he's in chains.
Yeah, so Zeke was originally in chains, but then he puts Eren in chains, and he's like, I'm going to convince you to join my side. He takes him through all of his memories and all of Grisha's memories, and then we get a nutso reveal. We get to the moment where Grisha was going to kill the Rice family and take the Founding Titan, and he stops. He's like, I can't do this. I can't just kill a family. And Eren and Zeke are there, and Eren starts whispering in Grisha's ears. He's like, "You got to do it. You can't stop. Remember what they did to your sister." So Eren, via the paths, actually influenced Grisha to do this.
To tell him, yeah, and when do we get Grisha just screaming, being like, "Are you happy now, Eren?
Exactly.
Show me!"
Because the Founding Titan, seeing into the future, he knew adult Eren was going to influence him, and he's able to see Zeke. And Grisha says to Zeke, "You gotta stop Eren.
Yes.
You gotta stop him."
Which was that was a beautiful moment when he was apologizing to Zeke for everything that he did, and then telling it. That moment is akin to Hank being shot in the desert in Breaking Bad, where you realize, like, oh, Walt's got to be stopped.
Yeah.
Like, Eren definitely has got to be stopped. He's going to do the rumbling, and nobody's going to tell him otherwise. Like, it's over. And not shortly after does the rumbling happen, right?
Yeah, so basically then Zeke is like, holy shit, it's all been Eren. Eren's been influencing all of it. And he tells Ymir, he's like, hey, euthanize the world. And Eren, meanwhile, is screaming at Ymir, you don't have to listen to him. Fuck him for being loyal to blood. You make your own choices. And Ymir is like, wow, you are right. And so she gives the abilities to Eren. Eren traps Zeke. He turns into this giant, disgusting, centipede-like thing.
Which feels like it's always evolving and forming. I wish we got to see its final form. It looks like, but like, am I right in saying that? It looks like it's continually manifesting its power, you know, and it's power.
I have to get one in.
I have to get one in, man, the power, and then he starts the rumbling.
He starts the rumbling, and you had mentioned this character before, Flock.
Yeah.
Flock is a radical Jaegerist, so he believes in restoring the Eldian Empire.
Yeah, we should talk about that. The people who are following Eren and go, yeah, this is the way to do it. And the ones who are fighting against him, and ironically, the ones going against him are his friends.
It's his friends, yeah. Like, Flock and the Jaegers are the only ones supporting him. Like, Armin and Mikasa and Jean and Connie and Hanji, they're like, we got to stop Eren.
Annie too. Annie's like, because Annie eventually gets out.
Annie gets out. Yeah.
Annie brings up the question that Annie is very clearly, after talking to the Asabamoto clan, who just want the ice breath mint or whatever that they power their ODM gear with. Yeah. And you find out Mikasa has some dynasty, but she's not really interested in it. Annie goes,
I don't want it.
Yeah, I don't want it. She goes, when the time comes to kill Eren, are you going to be able to do it? And she's like, we're not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to talk to him first. And Armin says the same thing. And you realize that none of them are really ready to do it yet.
Yeah.
And we get...
Because his enemies becoming friends. Because it's not just Annie, it's also Rhina and Piek. And Falco, who ended up taking the abilities of the Jaw Titan from Porco.
Yes, and I just want to shout my boy, Onya Capone! Yeah, that guy. I love Onya Capone. He's great. When they meet their first black person ever, it's so great. Onya Capone.
He's the pilot.
He's the pilot. So once Eren activates the rumbling, he is essentially sending, how many Titans would you say that are in those walls? There's hundreds of Titans. We see one colossal Titan.
Yeah, I would say like 1,000
There's probably 1,000 colossal Titans all just in a line walking. And they're just trampling everything in sight. And Armin and Connie and Hanj and Onya Capone are on this mission to try to stop Eren. And this is our last... And Levi, too.
Yes.
This is our last hurrah.
This is the last hurrah. They take out the Jaegerists, and Flock ends up stowing away. They kill him, too, but he destroys their plane.
He destroyed the plane, their airship, their airboat, whatever they called it. But they still, they managed to patch it up, but like just enough. They fly to wherever Eren ends up. I don't know.
Someone has to buy time for them. Because Flock destroyed the plane.
Hanj has the coolest death in the whole show. The coolest.
It's very much akin to Next 97.
Yes. Oh my God, which is coming up.
Yeah.
Hanj's death in Attack on Titan.
If you like anal beads, you are going to love the X97 episode.
Yes. I'm not sure what the connection is there, but I can't wait to find out. Hanj has the coolest death in this show. Like I'm cool. It's cool and it's narratively sound. Like before she dies, she tells Armin.
She doesn't give it to Levi.
She doesn't give it to Levi. She goes, have fun bossing Levi around. And she is taking out Colossals and then just does it till she can't do it anymore. And then is like burning on her way down. And then we see her in like Commander Heaven. where like Erwin's there and he's like telling her, he's like,
You did well.
By the time you joined us, you did well. It's very emotional just seeing that, like a hero's death, you know.
Hero's
like,
death.
She's
in Valhalla.
She's in Valhalla. She saved the world, and it's because of her they're able to go, and now they go fight Eren, and they see Zeke, and they know they got to stop Zeke.
And Eren basically tells them telepathically.
Yeah,
hey,
He tells all Eldians.
Yeah, he goes, I don't want to kill you guys. He goes, I'm not going to stop though. So if you want to stop me, you're going to have to kill me.
You're going to have to come get me.
Yeah.
Very Batman of him. He's like, hey, you want to stop me? You know where to come find me, dog. And they do. They go and they go find him. They go. Armin still at this point is like, I could talk to him. I could talk him through this. And Levi gets to fulfill his arc of taking out Zeke.
Because Armin gets captured, and they realize
what is it, like cow bull titan?
Yeah, some kind of like bull titan, and they realize the only way to neutralize Eren, to stop the weird Squidward centipede thing, they have to take out Zeke. And Armin tells Zeke, he's like, hey, you gotta help us. And Zeke's like, what's the point? He goes, nothing matters. And he goes, my whole euthanasia plan was for naught. And Armin's like, but there's so many wonderful little things in life. Like, I love the leaves on trees. Can you think about something that makes you happy? Zeke thinks about playing catch with that dude.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Sava?
Mr. Sava. Yeah. And so Zeke's like, man, you're right. Life is pretty cool. So that's when he gets out from the centipede thing and he lets Levi kill him.
Yeah, and he lets him kill him. And then Eren and Armin have their big battle, right? Do they go to the past? How are they able to talk to each other as people?
They end up fighting as colossal titans.
Yeah.
Eren ends up turning all the Eldians into titans.
Right.
Yeah. So like Connie becomes a titan, Jean becomes a titan, and so Armin and Eren are fighting. Eren is winning, but Mikasa is able to get in, and she's able to find Eren's head within his titan form, and she's able to chop it off. And that's what kills Eren. And that's when you realize before this fight, he actually had telepathic conversations with all of his friends, but then used the Founding Titan's powers to erase their memories.
And that's when the ending of the show should have happened.
Yes. That's
because then afterward, I mean, like watching it as a second time, I'm like, okay, Rana and Annie, I guess they could be alive, but they deserve to die after what they did.
For sure, they were war criminals.
It was the worst. And well, just tell us how the show ends. And we'll go into discussion.
So Eren is speaking to Armin in his telepathic conversation, and basically tells him, hey. So when I touched Historia that time, I saw the future, and I saw the only way that the world would leave you guys alone is if I wiped out 80% of the world, and if you guys stopped me, and so you would be heroes, and there wouldn't be enough of the population to stop you guys. And Armin's like, that's kind of crazy, and Eren's like, yeah, but at the same time, I want to do it, because Eren's like, I'm a stupid guy. I'm not a smart dude. I should not have been given this power. But I haven't.
You see the limitations of his character.
He's like
I'm acknowledging his limitations.
He's like Dr. Manhattan. Dr. Manhattan is just this dude who
more clothes.
With more clothes. Kind of.
Sometimes.
He's like this passive, apathetic dude that was given ultimate power. Eren's like, I shouldn't have gotten this. And Armin's like, hey man, I basically assisted you and abated you the entire time. And Eren's like, the one thing that I regret, I want to be with Mikasa. I wanted to be happy.
Which was that was a big twist for me.
Yeah. He goes, I wanted to be with her, and this sucks that I can't be with her. And Mikasa also is like, I want to be with Eren.
She's in love with him,
I'm in love with him, but I gotta kill him. I gotta let him go. And by doing that, Amir can see, hey, you can let go of the people that you love to move on if it's the right thing to do, because that's the crazy thing. Fritz was horrible to Amir. He treated her like a slave. But she loved him.
Yeah.
She really loved him.
And it took her a long time to learn a lesson of let go. I mean, ironically, Eren taught her that, who was arguably just as bad as Fritz in terms of empires and destructions of people who didn't deserve it. And that does give it gives a good cap on how to fix this problem now. And I'm glad it was Mikasa who sort of, because I'm glad Eren didn't like Hitler and Eva Braun this, where they hit the pill in the bunker and like they're cowards and they don't. She suffers in doing this and buries his head under the ground and still talks to him like he's always there.
Yeah, because she did love him, and this tree grows where Eren died, and so basically now Historia enlists those surviving main characters to be kind of ambassadors to the world on behalf of Eldia. So Armin and Mikasa and Jean and Connie and I guess Rhina and Annie, even though they're war criminals. And the hope is that you can find peace, but it doesn't happen.
We know that
it's like the ending of The Wire. Shit just repeats itself.
It just repeats itself, and it brings me to our. I wrote down some discussion topics that I thought.
Should we cover off on the post-credit scene though?
Oh yeah, the post-credit.
Yeah,
the post-credit.
So that's when like you realize that Aaron's vision, Historia's vision, never worked, and Marley probably got their hands on nukes, and they nuked Eldia, and Eldia nuked Marley, and the world becomes a wasteland. And it's left where we find years in the future, there's a kid, and he's walking with his dog, and he sees the tree that Aaron was buried under, and the tree is eerily similar to the tree that Amir originally approached and meets the centipede Squidward thing, and he goes into the tree, and so it's implied that this guy's going to become the new Amir.
Yeah, man, mission accomplished.
Honestly, that post-credit scene redeems the stupid Armin going, "Thank you for killing 80% of the world for us."
Yeah, that was just the one thing I couldn't.
I'm so glad you did that.
I'm so glad it took coverage.
I mean, Aaron, it truly is the best transformation of hero to villain since Walter White.
Yeah, and I would say that historically what this show did, or the parallels between it, isolationism and who's right, who's wrong, you don't know what your worldview is till you see the whole world. And nobody was right, and justice for Connie's mom, who I hope got turned back into a woman. Thank you for introducing me to Attack on Titan.
Thank you for watching it.
Hearts and lives to the cause.
Hearts and lives to the cause.
Thank you to my true believers for listening. Please be sure to like and subscribe. We'll be back in studio. Right now we're in Spokane, Washington. We're going to go find some lips. I'll see you outside, motherfuckers. Be well. I'm Troy Bond, and with me is my man,
Brent Birnbaum.
And True Believers.
True Believers. We love you guys.
Hey there, True Believers, it's me, Stan the Man Lee. Gee whiz, wasn't that a spectacular video? If you like that and want more, try clicking one of the videos you see on the screen now. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. And as always, True Believers, Excelsior!